Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So, believe it or not, new players are hopping on all the time, and even though some of the things that I'm about to talk about are common knowledge, not everyone knows about what you should do when you've got these events. And when you've got these events, you get certain things called currency. They're up the top, you can see them, they're right next to my non-existent red tickets. Those currencies are able to be used in event shops. So, let's answer the age-old question, what should you target first from the event shop? Okay, we'll go from do not buy this to what I think you should target first, right? First thing that I say you should not buy is personal preference. You can do it if you want. I think you're wasting your currency. Don't buy the frame. Just in my opinion, don't buy the frame. It costs way too much and it's a cosmetic item that does nothing for you. It will not advance you in the game. It will not help you progress, and really, what is it for? To say you've been there? I mean, you've now got a copy of Oni. That says you've been there, right? So, you guys can let me know if you do purchase the frames. I don't, but to be fair, I usually get them from ranking anyway, so I don't need to. But I wouldn't buy them, even if I didn't get them from ranking. I just think it's a complete waste of currency, in my honest opinion. Now, we do have units. My feelings towards units are mixed, right? I don't think you should use your currency to get units. Now, I could understand if you're very early in the game, you would have the desire to do this, right? But for me, you are going to get all of these units over time, right? Now, people will say you can get everything here over time. Now, that's true, okay? But the other things will advance you and allow you to gain more rewards and allow you to get things like Mummy Dalsum, like Guile, like Viper, absolutely free. I will say, however, the free units that are available here are pretty good. I mean, Mummy Dalsum's okay, right? He's a bit niche. The other two units are fantastic, but again, you're going to get them coming up a lot, so don't waste your currency on these, okay? That is just my opinion. You don't need to stick to it. I just think it's better off not using your currency to get these units, okay? So now we really move into the nitty gritty. What should you be getting with your currency, right? Now, if you are a low level player, so if you are pretty brand new and you need to advance your box, I can see why you would have the desirability to pick up these factional invite tickets, okay? Because they are going to give you guaranteed fodder in the factions that you may well need them in. They are relatively cheap, but I still feel like it is something that if you do purchase these with your currency, you are essentially negating the chance to get much higher value items from these stores. So again, I feel like these factional invites are something else that even if you are at a lower account level, you should probably skip. And that is just my opinion. Another one I think you should skip is these exchange transformation scrolls. These are actually very useful, right? You get gear and you can transform them. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you can use 12 just to get one bit of gear changing to what you need. But because you can do things like using your guild tokens and stuff to pick up gear from the shop that will have the right faction that you need, I again think this is something that is a waste of your currency and you probably shouldn't buy. You do get these from playing the game. You get them from like weeklies, I think it is. You get them other places as well, but I think I just build mine up through weeklies and I don't use them that often, but whenever I do need to use them, I always seem to have enough to do what I need to do, and I've never bought these. So my personal opinion, again, that's another one that is an absolute skip. Same thing goes for these two, the invites, the tokens. I mean, if you were actually planning to pick these up, I actually think you would be better off just getting the factional invites or the guaranteed character, because with these, you don't know what you're going to get. You can get a bunch of fodder that just actually gets sold and can't even be used to level up your characters. You're throwing RNG into the mix unnecessarily, and to be honest, they're not that cheap, right? So I again think this is another skip. So now we move into the territory of what you should buy with your currency, okay? Now, people are a little bit contentious here about what should be top priority, right? Now, I I have my personal feelings, and other people have their personal feelings, and there'll probably be arguments had about if these are the best thing to pick up or if these two are the best things to pick up. Now, the way I see it is, for me personally, I think these are the highest value on the board. Okay, now I say that because with your soul stones, your soul boost stones, or I don't know what the actual name for these are. What are they? Boost stones, soul boost stones, right? I feel like they're the best value because with fighting spirit, you a lot of times with your characters more or less unlock sometimes what seems like new abilities, enhancements to abilities, basically making units actually perform at the level they should perform at, not being gimped by anything, doing what they're supposed to do, right? Whereas these two things down here, I feel like when you have the unit at that point, doing what they're supposed to do, this will take them beyond that, making them do a little bit more damage. For most players, unless you are a whale who buys the grants and the passes and stuff like that, you are probably going to have a lot of characters sitting there in your box that need fighting spirit investment to allow you to have more diversity, to allow you to build more multiple team setups, to take on things like bosses, to push on further in things like the chapters, etc., which ultimately is going to help gear you towards better rewards, more things more often, allowing you to grow your account. Whereas this will specifically allow you to get one character stronger, which will help you advance one team, possibly making things like PvP a bit better, making things like your super showdowns a little bit better. But again, unless you're already in the spot where you can function well with multiple teams, what good is it making one team better, right? Because you've taken your Bison, you've taken your Viper, whatever, up to having shiny different coloured stars. If the rest of your team suck, because you've got characters on there that only have Fighting Spirit 20 and they really unlock their full potential at Fighting Spirit 30, then awesome, you've got one team that kicks ass, but then the following two teams you get murdered, right? So for me, it makes more sense if you are someone who does not have a large roster of units who are already Fighting Spirit 30, this should be your number one priority, 100%. Then you can potentially start looking at this, okay? This is just how I view it. Really, it's going to be dependent on where you are in the game. Even if you are a new player that doesn't have a lot of triple S characters right now, or double S characters, sorry, I would still build these up, because then when you start popping those characters off, you can immediately ramp them right up to Fighting Spirit 30, and the difference in performance is night and day. Characters just perform so much better most of the time. Some of them, I wouldn't even put their Fighting Spirit 30 there, but to be honest, with a character who I wouldn't take to Fighting Spirit 30, I generally wouldn't use them. So that goes to tell you something. Like Mad Ryu, at Fighting Spirit 30, he isn't necessarily a good character. But endgame wise, I don't necessarily think he's a good character anyway. So to me, sure, I wouldn't take him to Fighting Spirit 30, but I'm not going to use him anyway. So this is why I think getting this, making sure you've got it in the characters that need it, is probably going to be far more beneficial to you than just taking one character up with this. Now, these things are also an option. You can pick them up quite regularly in the likes of Shadow City and stuff like that. Also, I don't think gear gives quite the boost that something like this does, or something like these two things down here do. So for me, I would actually say that they are bottom of the priority list of things you would buy, right? I wouldn't purchase these. You can pick these up with cash from the shop. Just wait for them to come round and pick them up with cash. Just build up a stock of them. But for me, if I'm going for priority, unless you've got loads, already and you don't need to worry about it, this should be your number one priority. If you have already got everyone you need to do with their fighting spirits all done, all sorted, you don't care about being ready for new units coming, which I like to do, I like to have them there for when I pull a new unit, then you can jump to these. But for me, regardless of account level, that is where you should be putting your investment from this shop into. It's going to help you, it's going to help you progress, it's going to help you push your account. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you target, what you buy, right? I've been Hayzink, thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.